Hello, hi all, and also thank you for the people who come for this presentation. Here and there, few people that come to see this. And so, I will quickly introduce for our guest the topic that was actually explored with the work of our students. And then we will start with the actual presentation of the students. So, few words about this course. It's called Final Synthesis. It's their last big exam, and they spent 4 months in actually creating, designing 10 different projects on the topic of algorithm mediations. And what do we mean with this? So we can say that today we live in a data-intensive society, meaning that all our interactions, social interactions, are often mediated by digital devices. And actually, as designers, we are part also of this, because with our design, with our work, we make smooth the usage of such devices, of such algorithms. And we make them even more simple to use and pervasive in our life, which is great because we all love our devices. But what happens if we stop and start to think about which is the result of our design? Or even when these services, these algorithms, start to work not as intended, like in this case, the algorithm of Google Photos started to tag black people as gorillas. And actually, this was something that is completely unexpected, I would say. And when this happens, in a sort of way, algorithms are revealing themselves. Something taken for granted that never discussed about that start to actually open up a series of questions. I don't know, can an algorithm be racist? Or it's impossible because there is a sort of objectivity of machine and the machine cannot be racist? Or even more, is this just showing us the biases of the people who created the algorithm or the society who actually brought to the creation of this algorithm? Well, all these questions doesn't have a unique or simple solution, a unique answer, and actually they open debates, and a lot of actors, different kind of actors, people, groups, are mobilized and start actually to debate on this, creating alliances and oppositions. And this discussion is also digital. And we think that actually as communication designer, we can contribute to the understanding, and probably we should actually contribute to the understanding of this phenomenon and actually help people to orientate possible reactions. So the student actually analyzed this in 2 ways. First, creating an atlas of the web, and then analyzing a collection of digital mediations. So, the Atlas of the Web is a collection of static visualization exploring what is Internet today. So, in terms of its history, in terms of data breaches, so data that is stolen, in terms of amount of objects that are devices that are connected to the web, in terms of companies, who are the companies and their size and the relevance, in terms of the evolution of popular websites, showing the rise and fall of popular websites, and analyzing the censorship in different parts of the world, analyzing the internet as a physical infrastructure made up by actually concrete, plastic, and metal, as a place where actually new kind of money, of currencies are created, but also from the human point of view. Are all the people in the world able to access in the same way to the web? Are people across different social classes able to access to internet in the same way? And finally, also how social networks are different in different cultural areas. So this was the first phase. So students created this atlas made up by 10 maps. And actually, we won't go into details because you will have the opportunity to see all of these printed at the ground floor after the presentations. The second topic is about digital mediation. So the student tackled a lot of other topics more related to the way actually our interactions are mediated by these devices. So how do we use, for example, facial recognition, which is which kind of relationship we have with this technology, or with filters, all the apps that you can use to, appear more beautiful, or other example like this. And they explore this in two parts. First of all, collecting data from the web. So each group of students found one or more sources on the web and collected the data, understanding what does it mean to collect data, analyze data, and so on. And with the result of this collection, they created some artifacts that are the ones that will be presented today. So some artifacts to create public engagement around their topics. This third phase was actually coordinated by Angeles Briones, and so she will add a few words about that.
Thank you. So, here. Well, this is a screencast from what you can find in the website of Density. So all projects are published. These are the screencast for the phase number 2. So I want to show this since the big challenge for the phase number 3 is that students were asked to turn their research from data as artifact into data for the public. So these different topics, and through the different projects that they went through, the challenge was to find a way to ask how to design a communication artifact that can involve, that can engage the public. How to make society care and act on these issues. So even more when we are talking about very complex topics that are not usually domain of different specific audiences, or are also topics that are pretty new. There are a lot of these technological issues are already happening. So how to go further to find out how these topics could engage in society. What is very nice is that today what we are going to see through the presentations is how each group are presenting communication design artifacts that are engaging the public using different different ways of not just using data visualization in the traditional way, but how to communicate them using different interfaces, using different languages, and all this through an experimentation, and always thinking about who is the audience and thinking about in which specific context this communication design artifact could be a tool for understanding more about these issues. So the main goals, let's say, about this phase is to bring in critical reflection and also action on how these topics could be learned, let's say, in society. Again, one of the most interesting aspects of this third phase is how each of the group of students go through an experimentation on the languages and in the ways of communicating their research. So finally, let's say that like the main goals for you as students was also about to think and reflect about what is about working with data as politics. And from this to bring for you and also for your professional career to be more critical about how to design with data. And again, how to bring to society a way of being critical designing with data. So that's it. So we are going to start with group number 1, right? So group number 1, please.
Good afternoon. We are group number 1 and we are now presenting Double Check, a quiz about visual mis and disinformation. We live in a world full of images, and nowadays time, cost, skills are not an obstacle anymore in order to generate digital objects. For this reason, it's now very easy to fabricate misleading content, and the main problem is actually when fake images are spread across the web, the share of this misleading content is surpasses any type of correction or fact-checking about this information. So what we discovered also is the fact that the term fake does not describe in sources that have a high reputation online, that has a lot of endorsement, and the number of likes of a post actually affects the way of judgment when we see something online. The second factor is the trustworthiness. So the fact that the information is spread by wagon effect. So we live in a society, and we as users have the compulsive concern of losing information online and losing the opportunity to participate on social interactions. We have then the digital media literacy, which is the ability to recognize Then the issue attitude and the confirmation bias. We tend to believe in informations that actually are like what we think, so they are similar to our prior beliefs. Given all these factors, we identified an audience. So our project is addressed to people who are convinced they know how to use technology, they are obsessed about social interactions, and they think of being able to distinguish the reliability of sources and informations online. So these users are the most vulnerable because they are less likely to question themselves. Another important part is the goal of our project. So our purpose is to show that this problem is actually very complex, so that the content and the context must be analyzed when seen online, and that the user has to take responsibility for checking when they see online, and so there is an educational effort in order to increase user digital media literacy. The data we use. We use the data from the second phase, so our research we did about the most relevant event of the last 6 years, and we discovered that the events that created more visual misinformation are the ones related to politics, to environmental disasters, and social issues. Then we cluster these events using the division we said before, so miscaptioned, manipulated and cropped images, and we added more events. So in our quiz, you will see images, title, descriptions, accounts. All these items are all real, and you can check the original sources on the dataset that we link in our website. About the digital language, we took inspiration from other quizzes online that had the same educational effort. So quizzes that were not meant only to be played, but they had another type of effort.
At the base of our project, there is the gamification, which is a theory in which we use game-like mechanisms to engage our users to play a game, and while playing it, to learn and discover the complexity of this phenomenon. And this is the structure of our website. We start with our home page, then when we have 6 pages of introduction in which we engage the viewer, then 12 questions with 3 possibilities, right, wrong answer, and when the time is up, another wrong answer. Then we have 2 possibilities. If the user does everything right, we have the possibility letter A, in which we have an animation. And in case the user does at least one wrong, it has the other animation with a lot of images coming. And then the most important thing is that the user can share this project to share also our awareness of our topic. This is our home page, and then there are 2 pages of introduction in which we use a provocative way to talk to our user. Then we have 3 more pages in which we teach the 3 types of mis and disinformation, so the miscaption, the manipulated images, and the cropped ones. And then we have a last page in which we invite our user to play the game and to pay attention to the instructions. So we have the first type of, the countdown, of course, typical of a game. Then we have the first type of question with a double choice, in which the user has to choose the miscaptioned image. Then, if he does right, and also if he does the wrong answer, he has the hint. So we explain which was the right image and how the wrong one was chosen by the public, and which was the reaction of the public to the wrong image. Then we have the second type, in which we have the cropped image, in which the user has to choose in which way the image was originally cropped. And also in this kind of answer, we have the hint after. Then we have the third one with a multiple choice, in which we have a manipulated image, in which the user has to choose all the details who were manipulated in this picture. And then the final is a multiple choice, in which the user can choose or the manipulated image or the miscaptioned. And we can see in this slide what we have the time bar and running text to make the person feel stressed, to recreate the FOMO that occurs when someone is sharing things online. And this is the example when the time is up. We will see an animation and then the right answer, of course. Then this is the example of animation that occurs when at least something is wrong. there is the simulation of a huge overload of fake and, of course, manipulated images, and the possibility to share the content. In the other, if everything is all right, of course, all the images will disappear in this animation. And in the end, we have the about, where we explained our project, the aim of our project. We again explained all the types of mis and disinformation. Also the types, of course, our main topic, and our goal, of course, so to spread the awareness. And then the most important part is the starter pack, in which we recreated most asked questions about mis and disinformation, and then some tools to discover and to debug the mis and disinformation, like special websites, for example, Snopes and another Italian website. And for understanding which images we used, we attached the dataset. And always remember to double check before sharing online content. Thanks you.
Hi, so this is our project. It's about drones again, and it's basically about raising awareness about drone flying for people in LA, and we'll know the reason why afterwards. So the inspiration is from our previous protocols which involved drone-related incidences and its relationship with laws and regulations. Also, from our previous result, there is a lot of perspectives and information to take in, but one of the most noticeable pattern is that a lot of these incidences appears in the US. And so we focused our laws and regulations for our project in the US. And while we were reading a lot of these reported incidences, we noticed that these instances could be avoided by just simply understanding and utilizing these laws in real life situations. So, like the main goal for our project is to make it so it brings more context for the user and to make it more memorable, so they know when to apply it in real life. And who should be careful with the law, with the drone law? Obviously, it's for people who own a drone, who's new at flying, someone who's too excited about flying a drone than paying attention to the law and the consequences of an accident. Also, like by avoiding the accidents, you don't have to pay fines or go to jail. But most importantly, you avoid hurting other people without realizing. And the message is that flying a drone, like the sky, isn't free like our original memories. Like when we were young, we were able to buy a kite and to be able to fly a kite in the park without worrying about like if we had broken the law. But in this case, flying a drone is completely different. You can't just fly it in a park without considering other people's safety. And And so our aim is to use an interactive video to remind everyone about these regulations, and that the source of our information is the law and regulation from the FAA, which is the Federal Aviation Administration in the US. And it contains three parts of information. The first one, as we displayed here, it contains the regulations for everything related to drone, from manufacturers to lawmakers. But the part 107 is focused specifically on the drone flyers, and is the one that we focus on the most. There are also other restrictions, but it's not punishable by law, but you should also obey them. And we repurposed our previous data by adding in another section. We looked at all the incidences and added the related law that can be applied to that incidences. And afterwards, we noticed we are trying to figure out which law is being broken the most. And we also used our previous data, the articles, as a source of inspiration for our story planning. This way, our story is more relatable, and it brings context for the users. And the way that we laid out our website, we created this American pop art styled instruction book. So it's like an instruction menu for flying. And before you can access the interactive video, you have to press the restriction button to be able to access it. So it emphasizes on the importance of registration. And the interactive video is very easy to navigate. It plays an introductive video as a setting, and it presents a question and two choices. And if you make the right choice, you can go to the next section. And if you make the wrong choice, the reason why it is wrong is listed here with the regulation. And this is a flow chart, and it shows there is about 4 sections. Here, 4 sections the user can fly their drone to, and the rest is, in each section there's 2 smaller parks you can go. And thank you, but there's still more on the website. So this is the website. Okay, thanks. So when you open the book, it goes to the next page with a small introduction. And then afterwards is the video. And it starts like a comic setting. And then on here, it automatically fills everything out for you. And then when you press the right button, it goes to the next section where you can play the interactive game. Not interactive game, interactive video. Okay, so the video is supposed to load right now. We're just imagining. And you arrived at Los Angeles, and before you fly, that's the title of our project. Oh, right. Really? This also shows the importance of high-speed internet. Okay, so raise of hand on which choice you would choose to choose. Like this one, if you want to fly this way, raise your hand. Okay, how about this one? Okay, we'll fly at night. And it's the night. Okay. it doesn't actually show you the shots of the police arresting you, but this is the law they're gonna tell you you broke. Okay, and then you can fly the drone tomorrow or return to the previous scene. But this goes on for the next few chapters. Okay, yeah, they're telling me to cut this short, but do you guys wanna cut this short or continue? Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let's. Okay. We're gonna get to Hollywood, and that's it. And then there's Hollywood, and that's our. Wait, does everyone want to go to Hollywood? Okay. Walk of Fame or the other one? There's two options, I remember. Walk of Fame or Hollywood Bowl? Okay. Walk of Fame will be here shortly. How much time do we have? Okay, we have time. So, do you want to observe from afar or fly close up to take some footages? Close up, raise your hand. Okay. Fly from afar? I don't know which one's which. Okay, from afar. Okay. You can still technically see the little bit of stars, but you're not really up close to them, yeah. And there's your success photo. Although you're not able to take close-up shots, but far away is also good. There's another really exciting one. It's the park. This will be our last stop. Okay, something exciting is happening in the park. Okay. But yeah, there's an explosion. And then you can either choose to fly to see what happened or join a volunteer service. And so that concludes our trip for now. Yeah, and then you can quit anytime you want. And thanks. And then this is and then afterwards, after you quit the game, interactive video, you're allowed to you can access the infographic where it shows which law is being broken the most. And the one that's been broken the most is going to restricted areas, areas that you're not supposed to go to. And because it's just numbers, we also wanted to show what type of incidences there is. We created another graph that shows the news reportings that news reporting, so that when people can click on it and see in a real context, like what type of law, like which type of instance belongs to that type of law, and the legend is here. And then afterwards, we have a list of resources for anyone who's looking to fly a drone. They can fly a drone in the US, that they can look at these laws and study. Yeah, thank you.
We are Group 10, and our topic is facial recognition in China. The Group 6, the project is so exciting, but I think our project is more serious, like not that fun. So let's start. We all know that facial recognition has been used in the urban life around the world for a long time. So a lot of controversy over it never stopped. In our research of facial recognition, we are aiming to find out what people's most concerned about the situation, which facial recognition in different countries has been, used widely. So we have been using multi-protocols and data sets in different platforms. And from one of our findings from phase 2, we found out that we were studying, try to find out which are the most mentioned words in different countries at their most popular social media. We found out there are big difference between Western countries and Eastern countries. For example, in America and Italy, they talk privacy the most. They talk 15 times in 100 results. But in China, they talk convenience the most. So we were wondering, why do people in China think facial recognition is very convenient? Because in our group, 5 of us are from China, so we know the situation that in China, facial recognition devices are widely used in people's daily life. So they think it's convenient. And the second question is, why facial recognition devices are so popular in China? Why they need it so much everywhere? As we know that China is the most populous countries in the world with more than 1.4 billion population. For efficiency, that might be one reason. And we are thinking about, what do people think about it? Do they only care about convenience? Are they care about other things? So here comes our project, we will see. Our audience, we want to focus to communicate to people living in Western world. I know some of them never been to China, or haven't been to China in the last recent years. The knowledge about the situation that facial recognition devices in China are only from media or social media. And the message is that we want to deliver to them that the fact facial recognition devices are very popular in China. How popular? Where are they using them? And the other one is, while people in China, they're embracing the convenience the technology brings to them, they also face problems like privacy violation or security. Our communication aim is to inform that the real situation, like the real scenario, like how popular facial recognition has been used in China. And the most important is that what does the public think about it? So we collect a new data set about the usage of facial recognition devices in different categories, and with the media reports from the biggest search engine, which is Baidu in China, and the personal comments from the most popular social media, which is Weibo, all has original sources. So here is our data set. Down there you can see that we have different categories like communities, school, company, transportation, supermarket, government, park, police, bank, and airport. You know that they're everywhere. And in each category, we have different situations, like for example, in community, at the gate entry, and even the trash can, or your home knock, they use facial recognition. And we have the reason why they put the device there. All the functions are from the official statement. Like the first one, they use facial recognition devices at the gate entrance of the community for the security of the people living in community. And we also have the media comments, positive comments or negative comments with the original sources. And the story, we collected so many devices in around China. We try to put them in a city called City X, which we create. It's a fake city, but it's like one of the other biggest city in China. It has huge population and high technology. So they use facial recognition devices almost everywhere in people's daily life. We want to engage with our audience, like imagine you are the person living in City X. This is your daily life. You wake up, you scan your face to do everything, open your door, and you go to metro, enter metro, buy tickets, pay for your meal, and boarding the flights, or sometimes even scan your face to get toilet paper. Yeah, our website, I let my colleague to explain.
Okay. How to click it? Why it's not works? Okay. Okay, welcome to CDX. First, it's a background introduction. You are a police officer in China, and it's your day. It's your normal day. You live with your family, and you have a child. And so today, you have to get up and send your child to school and get your work. So let's go. And click check again to close it, and you will go to next step. So we have 16 scenarios. You can go to one by one, close it, and at the bottom of this page we have feedback here. This feedback is to collect, because our audience is Westerners. We'd like to see how would you feel after you're seeing this website. Would you like to use your facial recognition applications in this place? And you are strongly agree or you are strongly disagree. And we collect some feedbacks, and I will show you later. So that's about our website. Okay. Okay.
So I start with the contents. We have the About section, which is the introduction of the project. We give the background information about our project and about the Chinese population, which is the context of this project. And we introduce the CityX, which we created, and its features, why. And also at the end, we have the link to review findings of phase 2. After you check this, you are interested in what we studied before, so you can click it and go back to phase 2. Yeah. And our artifact, it is a digital map on the website. The contents part, we have stories and different scenarios. We have 16 scenarios telling with a sentence about your daily activity, like when you get up, you go to throw garbage, go to park, do exercise, you send your daughter to school, when your daughter enter the gate of the school, etc. And you click it, you can see that marked with red color, you see the image of the facial recognition devices, because in different scenario it look different. We based on the real image of the facial recognition devices and use illustration to draw them. And below that, we also introduce the function why people put it there, like for the interest of the, like when you fly by at the airport, they have the device there to enhance security. Like they can cross over with the database of the criminals, so they can tell immediately if you are criminal or not. And also for the efficiency of the whole process. And most importantly, we have like media report and personal comments, which is the key part, because the whole project is about what people think about this kind of situation. We marked our media articles with purple color and with the translation of the media, the headline of media. Like the third one, like uses facial recognition to fight criminal is questioned, because of which error rate is high as 35%. Like media, some media, they don't agree about that because, you know, it's not very accurate. They question that. Below that, we have the link which you can click, go back to the original report of the media. And on the right, we have personal comments which marked with blue color. Like this one, when I took a taxi, I saw 2 cameras in the car. I guess if the data from all taxis camera is, well, all the criminals will be caught, but our privacy is no longer secure. Like people, they in some scenario, they agree that, okay, it is effective if you use this technology to catch criminals, but who will protect our privacy? So, as Han-Yu said, we also have interactive part with our audience, which is the Likert scale feedback. I will let Han-Yu to explain about the feedback we get.
Before doing this presentation, we get 18 feedbacks. Like you say, from blue to purple, it's strongly disagree to strongly agree. And we have the histograms for each scenarios. So, for example, metro entrance and getting blue train tickets, people will support it. And for the school gates, it's a thing. So for the gate entrance and for the get ticket, people would like to think it's faster and it's convenience. So people will support it. But for like classroom, jaywalking or collecting toilet paper, people think is that too much? You can't put my face in that place. And also for social securities, like catching criminals and finding missing children, so people are supportive, and same with airport. So in conclusion, that for entrance, for people support this faster and convenient and more safety way to get into this situation, or maybe boarding, like getting to station. But for the G-working or like classroom, people will worried about their privacy. They think it's a privacy violence.
So that's basically the whole thing of our project. And after this, we were thinking about it is so scary, like the devices are everywhere. In some places, the facial recognition device, like in metro or if you buy ticket, it becoming the main way of how to say. But what if the old people, they don't know how to use this kind of devices? Or what if the system goes wrong? What will be the situation? And the most worried part is about the data. You know, different part, they use different devices, so there are huge datas. Where are those datas go, and who has access to those datas? And are those datas, they connect to each other? So yeah, we have this kind of worries and thinkings. I think in the future we will continue to work on it. Thanks. That will be all. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, we are group 4 and we're gonna present the project Setjetters United. So firstly, I'm gonna explain about the phase 2 and then I'm gonna go through our audience, message and communication aim. So in the second phase, our topic was placemaking in the mass media entertainment world, where we analyzed how movies and TV series affect our choices when we travel and the perception of the real world and the places. So, at the beginning, we discovered the term setjetting, which means traveling to locations which are firstly seen in movies and TV series. And after realizing how serious it is, we came to a conclusion that even though it brings a lot of economical benefits and new sources of income, of course it has a negative impact, which the most usual ones are that people are damaging environment, they are disturbing the residents, they have inappropriate behaviors, and of course in some cases they can even risk their own life. So the general idea why the setjetting traveling is different than the normal one is that these locations are not meant to be a touristic one, so therefore they are not prepared for the masses of people, and the behavior of people who are visiting these locations is really peculiar. So it's not just taking pictures, recording videos, it's actual activities that they are doing. So as an audience, we want to address people who already practiced setjetting and people who want to do it, because what we know about them is that they will do literally anything in order to relive the movie, to have that experience, or just to recreate their favorite scene. And because of this, in some cases, they can disregard common sense. So as a message, it seems funny, silly, completely innocent and harmless, but actually in real life it has a really negative impact. So what you see in movies and TV series and you think it's fine, in real life of course it's not, and it causes really serious issues. So as a communication aim, first we want to bring awareness of these problems, because even though there is multiple articles online who are writing about this, people still are doing the same thing and they are not aware of it. And the second one is to inform of how many people are doing it, because maybe one thinks that he's the only one who is doing it, so he thinks that there are no consequences, but in reality there are hundreds and thousands of people who are doing the same thing at the same location, and because of this it causes real serious issues.
So we now present Setjetters United. Setjetters is a travel platform dedicated for setjetters, and instead of offering real tours, of course, we offer parodies of the most absurd things people have done in those locations. This is the navigation tree. The structure is fairly simple. From the home page, you can browse the catalog by choosing one of the 4 categories, then choose a tour, and then you can proceed to buy the tour and get to the moralist page, which is where we get preachy and explain that everything is real, or go to the behind the scene, which is where we also explain the project and that everything is real. Okay, we reused different languages and referenced both the travel platforms like Airbnb and TripAdvisor, but also streaming services like Netflix and such. We derived both structure and content. So now for example, we can see the categories were derived from all our references, which are very used. Then we also reference we take the company values from travel platforms, the activity card that show some sneak peeks of the different things you can buy, and lastly the reviews, but also we reference the color scheme, so the dark background and light color is from the streaming platforms and cinema database like IMDb. Then these were the visual content was thought to be as credible as possible, while instead the textual part is ironic and exaggerated to make parodies of what we found, the most strange things we found. And then, yes, the first hint at the parodies is from the category, which have a catchy name, but are actually thematic groups for the tours, and are based on the kind of problem they create. For example, the first is make your presence stand out, and is for public nuisance. Then we have leave your mark on the world, which is for environmental damage, and then swim against the tide for inappropriate behaviors that are mostly like getting naked. And then feel the adrenaline flowing, which is for risky behavior, like endangering yourself and other people while you do your thing. We used, apart from making up stuff, we also used data that we found, like images, reviews, the address, and the number of image tags that are all real info. And then we have the edited infos, which are the descriptions and what to bring, so people may use stuff, so they are listed, but also some we added them, inventing. And then the fictitious part is the price and the name of the tours. Okay. The images were sourced from various sites, so online news, Google, Instagram, YouTube also for videos, and Instagram, Twitter, various social networks. Okay, then the website.
Okay, so now we see our website. Okay, so this is our website. On the home page, we can see in the background a video that shows some places that are then present in the website where some TV series and movies were shot. Now, if we go down, we have the 4 categories that we have seen before. With on the over, they will show an image that represents the people's behavior from these categories. All 4 of them. Then if we go down, we have the principle of our travel agency, to make the agency more credible. And then if we go down, we have a selection of all our favorite, most loved activities. Now we can go, for example, click on one category and see how it is structured. So this is the category page. We can see the activities presented through cards, with a picture and with some data, for example, the title and prices and other information. And on the left side, we can see the title name, the description, and we can switch category from these buttons. So now we can see all the other categories and all their activities. Now we can click, for example, on one category that is on one tour, for example, this one about the Chernobyl mini-series. For example, in this case, the problem was people that take half naked or a picture in underwear in the places where the the disaster has taken place, so it's really disrespectful for what happened. So we on each page show on the left side all information like the number of posts at that fictional location, the real place, an ironic description that explains what real happened in this place, but with an ironic tone, what people should bring to enjoy that tour, and a price. Then if we go down on the other side, the first picture is always the one taken from the series. And then if you go down, there are all the real pictures taken in that place and shows how absurd stuff people do. In this case, so in this picture. Then if you go down, we have real reviews taken from different platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and Google of people that have really been in those places, so they are all real. And if we go down, we have a carousel with all the other activities in this category. Now we can maybe change category and show another tour. We can add to the cart this activity. Now we choose one on another one. For example, this that is from Game of Thrones. We have in this case people that are ruining the environment because they are parking the cars and are carving stuff on trees, so they are really devastating this beautiful place. So we can add even this to the cart. Now if we open the cart, we have all the activities that we have selected. We can choose the date and the quantity, and then we can even remove, for example, the tour. Now if we click on purchase, we can see the Moralist page, which explains the real aim of the website, that explains that all these things have really happened, that it's all true, and for each tour you have selected, you have like a short description and a link that if you click will show you like some articles that that shows you the problem, and so you can read something more. We come back. If we want to know more, you can click on the behind the scene that will show our about, that will explain how our website has been made, where we have taken all the data, how we organize them, the platform that we used as a source with all these. We have all the scheme that we have seen before, so how we use each data. And at the bottom of the page, we can see the scheme that shows the 4 different categories. And if we click on it, we can see a table that with all the data that we have used, so people can have a look, and they're divided in the 4 different categories. So that's our website. You can maybe have a look more after down at the mega screen. Thank you for the attention.
Hello everyone. We are Group 7 and we will present our project, the Justified Archive. So we start from the content. The topic that we are working on since 4 months is face and body modification apps that are platform mainly for smartphones that provides instant modifications for like photo editing for your picture. You can have it instantly and really without any friction. So they are really easy to use. So just with one tap we can have kind of professional modifications, and we can have it wherever we want, because everyone has a smartphone in their pocket and we can download it for free. So since the very beginning, we understood that the main environment in which these apps were in some way spreading was Google Play Store, that is the main app store worldwide. And as we did in the previous phase, so we started to analyze this big context through, at the beginning, suggested apps related to the face and body modification one, and so to create to map a sort of network. And then through the icons, so we understood also, we decided to map also how these apps were presenting themselves, with which image, and if they were different between gender, or if there was a difference of kind of image, how abstract they were, etc. And for this third phase, for us was important to dive deeply into this platform, looking at the textual contents, and exactly to what the two main players of this platform say. So who create the apps and who use the apps. So in this case, claims and reviews that actually create a sort of endless conversation inside this platform. It's not a real conversation, a specific one, a direct one, but actually both the app, who create the app and who use the app actually talk about the same narration and believe in the same story. What we understood looking at how they talk each other, also if it's not direct conversation, is that there is a kind of what we call blurred relationship. It's not really clear about what they are saying, and also the fact that this topic is really new, so people don't really know if the massive use of these apps can bring to bad consequences or something like that. So diving into the story that we created, okay, what we understood was what we wanted to do was to highlight the fact that this app exploit the user's vulnerabilities through these questionable claims, questionable stories, and in some way they try to overcome the embarrassment of the use of these apps. If you can go back, we can also see the screenshot of this user, for example, that really believed to the fact that the app that edit her photos just make herself feel what she really is, and so she feels more herself through this modification instead of what she is. So for this project, we understood that the audience was really wide, and so we couldn't really freeze it in a geographical area. What we can say is that the audience is whoever uses Google Play Store and whoever knows the structure and how it works. And to this project and to this environment of Google Play Store, we decided to use a structured method in which we enter the platform, we query body editor, and then we extract manually 110 claims and then reviews. Manually, because we wanted to evaluate like the single sentence and understand if there was something behind. To do this, then we decided to categorize it into also these manually in these 6 categories that actually represent the 6 different attitudes and 6 different reasons why the user should download the app and why the user is happy about the app. These are the 6 main reasons that we found out. So looking at it more close, these apps can improve your creativity, so it can make you an artist of face and body modifications, can make you an artist, can increase your popularity, so can actually make you stand out in your group friend, can make you more interesting, so can give you a narration to talk, and also can make you look like a celebrity. These are all examples from the Google Play Store, are the real content. We just extract some to show you. Then this app can also make you achieve perfection. So a perfect skin, a perfect body, perfect shape. So perfection is something that can be reached. If all the other reasons didn't fit to you, you can also download it just because you don't have to put any effort. It's just, if you don't have nothing to do, with one tap you can have your photo done. And then this is maybe one of the most important these apps can replace workout, the real one. And we understood that there is a strong link with this word also in the previous phase when we understood the network of the suggestions in the Google Play Store, because we understood that the topic of workout and photo editing are really connected, and a lot of apps were really suggested in the same moment. Also, if they actually provide two different modifications, one is real and the other is virtual. And then you can also restore your naturality. So through these apps, you can really get your natural beauty and look healthier. After taking all these material, we decided to decontextualize. So to make these sentences really important, we extract it from the platform in which they are actually hid, because there is a lot of material and no one really read all the reviews and all the claims. And we decided to create a digital archive. That is a way to present the original content and to keep it original. And we decided to do this to, in some way, we didn't want to judge, because it's a really new topic, and so the point was more to collect and repurpose the question and make people question themselves about this topic and read the sentence in their own way. So the artifact is an archive, a digital archive. We decided to keep this rounded button and shadow layout, like the digital one, like Google Play Store, like the social network, like all these digital applications. We have the main structure that is these 6 labels, so we can navigate through the 6 different categories that have also a short description that can be read all the time. And then we can also read all the comments, so the user can really navigate. And then there is this button in which we can switch from one point of view to the other. The reviews, we decided to delete the picture and the name of the user for a sort of privacy reason. And then it's also possible to go directly to the app that provides this claim or this review. Yes, so this is all. Thanks.
farlo un po'.
Okay. Hi, everyone. We are Group 3. Our project is the Mimetic Warfare Archive, and we started this with the Phase 2 work, the warfare of the funny pictures on the internet, in order to analyze and understand what mimetic warfare is. But it's a very complex issue, and so it's necessary to us to talk before about memes and what they are. So let's use a metaphor. You see this ant climbing up this blade of grass, and it climbs and it falls several times. So what this ant's doing, what goal are trying to achieve by climbing this blade of grass? What's up there for the ant? The truth is, there is nothing there for the ant, because it has his brain hijacked, but a parasite, the Lancet fluke. This parasite can take the control of the ant's mind and make him climb this blade of grass in order to be eaten by a cow and then start his life cycle. So the parasite totally hijacked the brain of the ant and induced a suicidal behavior. I know that's creepy, that's pretty scary. And did something similar happen in human beings? Yes, it does. It's ideas, not worms, that hijack our brain. And there are a lot of ideas to die for. Very powerful ideas that can replace our biological imperatives, the reproduction imperatives. So ideas that can hijack our brains. So this is the first definition of what we call meme. A meme is a unit of cultural information spread by imitation. This is the definition by Richard Dawkins in The Selfish Gene, and we see that a meme is a replicant idea that can spread from one mind to another. But let's see another definition.
And that's what a meme is an information packet with attitude. What's a meme made of? Not silicon. They're made of information. Can be carried in any physical medium.
So in these words of Dan Dennett, we see that a meme is now an idea that can spread. But let's talk about the definition we all know. So the memes, as we know, start in 2007 when a blog called I Can Ask Cheeseburger posted this picture of a cat asking for a cheeseburger. And it's the first example of a meme, an image with overlying white text. And after this, we found out that a lot of formats, visually coordinated formats, come out. And we see the same background, different colors, the subject on the top. And after this, we ask ourselves, oh, a meme is born. So let's take Pepe the Frog. We take from the comic, we take away, and we spread these ideas in different contexts, different situations. But what happens when a meme comes with a negative or propagandist idea? We are facilitating the spread of toxic and dangerous ideas. So let's make a similitude between these two images. The first on the left is the cover of a coloring book from World War II. And the logic behind this is that Jews are like mushrooms. There are a lot of mushrooms, but some of them are poisonous. And so you can take an handful of mushrooms because some of them are poison. So let's see the meme on the right. It's the same logic, but applied to the Syrian refugee situation. And so we have a meme with a propagandist message in it. So let's talk about the meme metatext. That's the hidden read of a meme. You see this popular meme, left exit, and By analyzing it in its parts, we can see the number one, the good choice, so the logical choice. Number two, the illogical choice. So in this case, the negative abstraction of this meme. And the third, we see the target. In the logical choice, by putting something on the second slot, we can give a description, a negative description of this idea. It's easy to make the mind of another more similar to us. And so we used Reddit, in particular subreddit of Hong Kong, like in phase 2, and we collected all the memes inside. And we see that Reddit has particular characteristics as a thread-based forum, and users can post everything about social issues and stuff like this. And so, what a meme is in synthesis is a container for ideas, is a container that helps taking the message. In the Rerum Naturae, we see the metaphor like this, a metaphor for the honey. Is the honey to drink the bitter absinthe to the child? Remember something?
For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
So, recalling the two images that we showed before, we can assume that propagandistic ideas can be assimilated by a meme. And what happens when this kind of meme finishes into the hands of powerful or influential person? That happened like Donald Trump Jr. shows this kind of meme for propaganda in 2016. And so there is a strict relationship between diffusion of ideas and propagandistic ideas. And this is the message that we want to leverage, so that mimetic warfare is like the a new way of making propaganda nowadays, and this happens through social media that kind of loses the possibility to just connecting people, but starting to be weaponized as that allows to propaganda memes. And so the audience that we want to refer is basically every kind of generic internet user, but more specifically, we want to address our project to the ones that are not conscious of this kind of mechanism and that are not aware of this kind of mimetic warfare, but also through the protocol that is inserted in the website. Our website could be also useful for researchers and people that do some kind of research, because Reddit has the possibility to delete or remove all their posts. So our project is like an historical for every kind of memes that pass around Reddit. And we choose Hong Kong for three main reasons. One, because it's an actuality topic that is diffused all around the world and has been discussed from months and months. And the third one is that because it has had a huge amount of production of memes, both on Reddit and on other platforms. And last but not the least, it's also a natural consequence of our phase 2, where we try to map all the kind of network between memes and their target. And we found out two main findings. That one is that some kind of memes were born just to attach some kind of targets. And the second one is that the totality of memes that we collected were about Hong Kong protests. So, starting from our protocol from the last phase, we made two main implementations. The one on about to widen the span time of collecting memes. And the second one is about the new type of clusterization that is made with techniques. So let's talk about data. And the first one is propaganda. So those 12 techniques of propaganda was taken from Shabo's book that is called Techniques of Propaganda and Persuasion. And those 12 techniques try to submerge all the other subcategories of propaganda to show how the message is leveraged to memes. Also the target, as target we mean the target and the subject that is affected and damaged in negative way by the memes. And also here we made a small clusterization also to be useful in the website. As the last one, we talk also about templates. So as templates we take for official resource knowyourmeme.com, that is one of the most reliable sources online for memes.
Let's now talk about our artifacts, the Mimetic Warfare Archive. The website is structured in 4 main sections: the homepage, the archive itself, the propaganda section, propaganda explanation section, and the about section. Let's see more deeply this section. The pre-landing consists of a curtain that stands for the public common opinion about memes. Memes are funny, harmless, and ironic images. But when the curtain falls, it reveals the quotes that spreads our message. That memes can also bring with themselves propagandistic and toxic message. The second part of the homepage is a direct link to the archive section. These 3 stickers stands for 3 different events that we choose. For example, the first one is Hong Kong. That is one we took in consideration. These events are more just like issue or events for us. Our idea is that the website can be expanded, the process duplicated. So there are other 2 episodes like World War III and Brexit that will be the coming soon events. Next part of the homepage is a brief explanation of mimetic warfare meaning. This is a sort of onboarding for us because we want to make every user to have the best experience in our website, no matter what its level of knowledge about the topic is. So this is an introduction of the topic, but there's a direct link to the website, to the about section through the black button, where the user can go deep in this theme. Last section of the homepage is a list of the 12 propaganda techniques that we mentioned before, and a direct link to their explanation. But let's see more deeply the heart of our project, which is the archive. Here, the element, and I'm talking about the sticker and the test, are an introduction and a contextualization of the event. Here we are talking about Hong Kong and the anti-ELAB protests that are happening now in these months. So scrolling down, we have the archive, which is a result of the collection of memes in the subreddit, Hong Kong subreddit. And we give the possibility to filter this meme through propaganda technique and target, but also to combine these 2 filters in order to run a cross analysis. And we collected memes, but we also organized them. We gave them a unique code where the first 2 letters refers to the event, Hong Kong in this case. The second pairs of letters refers to the propaganda technique. AS stands for assertion, in this case, in this example, and the number stands for its position in that category. It is also possible to have more information about the single meme by clicking on them. A models pop up, and it's possible to read an explanation of the real meaning of that meme, of the real intention of the meme, and the template according to the Know Your Meme classification. And eventually, a sidebar gives us analytical data about that subreddit. For example, we have number of subscribers and most commonly used keywords. The third main section of our website is the propaganda technique explanation. Each of these sections has an introduction video, which uses ironic tone and concrete examples to make complex idea to make it understandable. Let's see an example of this video.
The propagandist tries to paint himself as just like you. Politicians often paint themselves as plain folk rather than government men.
I was part of a special task force of very young-looking cops who infiltrated high schools. How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
However, this is a double-edged sword. The risk is to be unmasked as an imposter.
Well, well, if it isn't our old friend Bluestone the Great.
Okay, this is one example. And this idea is better explained later in an historical explanation of that propaganda technique. This section ends with a parallelism between a poster and a meme, which stands for the old and the new way of propaganda, of making propaganda. Last section of our website is the About section. The first part talks about mimetic warfare, and their evolution, and it tells pretty the same thing that we mentioned in the first part of the presentation. And the second part, the most important one, is our design journey, our process, and most important, we talk about our protocol, because we want everyone who is interested into this subject, into this project, to give him the possibility to replicate it. So this is all, and a special thanks goes to Group 5 and thanks.
We are Pipi, Noura, Ivana, Andrei, Yueling, and I'm Arthur. And we are about to unravel the mystery around deepfakes in our deepfake laboratory. So, who of you have actually had experience with deep learning networks and artificial intelligence? I mean, we see them every day, we interact with them every day, but we read about them as if they're very distant from us. And we tend to think about how they relate to society and how they cause problems and what they are doing, but we don't really know how it is to work with them. And in our opinion, it is very important to know how they work, to also work with them, to have a practical experience. And that is why we've made the Deepfake Lab, yes. So in our presentation, we're going to talk about the phases, how this led to our communication aim, what happened in our third phase, how this led to the message and the audience we chose. Then there's going to be a live tutorial to wake you up, and we will finally show you the website with our deepfakes. So in our first, in our phase 2, the main protocol we worked on, we analyzed the YouTube and how there's a lot of videos in which celebrities are deepfaked into famous movie fragments. But it was very contradictory to what we read in the media, because the feeling we got from this was more like funny videos and everything seemed kind of harmless. Whilst on the other hand, from our first protocol, we studied the words that were used by most countries to describe the phenomenon of deepfake. It was very concerned, and the media tended to be very talking about dangers, talking about a distant technology. So from our overall experience of the phase 2, we got that there's a gap between the deepfake technologies and the people. So this led to our aim. Our aim is to decrease this gap between the mythical technology deepfake and society, and accelerate the adaptation to reduce the impact of potential misuse. So then we came to our phase 3, we started to work on our aim, and at first we wanted to make a platform where people can learn how to recognize deepfakes as sort of a way to protect themselves or to protect the society. And we found a lot of information about the things that you can do to recognize deepfakes, especially the lower qualities. They show they show visual flaws. And these visual flaws, they are related to the technical research and what is happening behind the deepfake, so what is happening in the algorithm. So our goal was to show how the technology works by showing how the technology creates its flaws. But then we started to do research, and we made a lot of deepfakes ourselves, and we discovered a lot about how it actually is to work with these deepfakes. So our new aim, or our message, is to bring our practical understanding of deepfake to the people, similar to a hands-on experience. And actually, when I say the people, I mean you, young adults between 20 and 35, internet users involved in social platforms, a good level of digital literacy, and 0 to basic knowledge about the phenomenon of deepfake. So then, our live tutorial, Pipi.
Thank you. Okay, our lab tutorial is going to consist in a deepfake. So this is the steps we need to follow to create a deepfake. So we are going to have 2 volunteers, Arthur and Andre, please. Yes, please, here. Okay, so the first thing we need to create a deepfake is a target video. Target video is the original video in which we are going to place another face. So in this case, it's going to be Arthur. So please, Arthur, say something, please.
This is a deepfake test.
Okay, thank you. And then we need a source video. The source video is the face we are going to put into the target video. So we are going to use Andre as a source video. Okay, Andre?
This is a deepfake source video.
Okay, this is fantastic because for doing a good good source video, we need to imitate lights and also the movements of the face, and this is fantastic because we are sharing the same light. So then we're going to go to the other step, that is the alignment. In this phase, we are going to work in Arthur's face, and we are going to run the software. This software, what it's going to do is to look for the eyes, mouth, and nose, and also the orientation of the face, to put the other face, okay? And then we are going to run the algorithm. Okay, for the algorithm, we are going to set some parameters that these parameters then are going to be explained in our website. All of our deepfakes have these graphs, so you can go there and dig if you want. And then we're going to run the algorithm. Okay. You are going to see this. The first column is Andre, that is the source video. The third one is Arthur, that is the target video. And the last column is going to be the deepfake, and what it's doing is matching both faces. Okay? And then also, these are the iterations. The more iterations you can have, the better the quality the deepfake is going to have. So, okay, let's see the final result. Let's see the deepfake. Wow! And here is the deepfake. Okay, so our website is not just about how to create a deepfake, but also how to depict it. So we created this kind of glossary of the deepfake spotter. So we are going to explain you some of them. So the first one we are going to explain in the skin color mismatch. You can actually see the different skin color of Arthur's forehead and Arthur's face. Another one you can easily see here is the borders of this mask. And the other one we can see is the face occlusion. What happened with the face occlusion? If Arthur in the video is doing like this, it's not going to appear, because what's really happening is that the mask we put on top is not going to visualize the hand, because it's just a mask. Don't worry, because all of these visual flaws can be fixed with post-production, with After Effects or Premiere or whatever. So it can be fixed, so you are going to have a fantastic deepfake. So please, Arthur, turn back. Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Pipi, for deepfaking me. So yeah, then back to the website, because Pipi made a clear explanation between how you can see the technology of the deepfake and the mask, and what the relationship is to the recognition part of our website. And these are the main two things you will see also when we demonstrate the website. This is a layout. We made a combination between the content that we made ourselves, content that we found on the on the internet, to show good examples of deepfakes. And we have 3 experiments in which we put deepfakes to the test, and we show how different parameters lead to different results, also showing how you can improve the quality of a deepfake. And now we go to the website. Oh, that's quick. Audio.
At deepfakes. Deepfakes are artificial. Hello, welcome to our website. My name is Arthur, and we are going to have a look at deepfakes. Deepfakes are artificial intelligent computer models that are able to recognize facial features to be able to either replace faces or be able to manipulate them. Throughout this website, we're going to have a look at the variables that determine the quality of a good deepfake and how to recognize them. Disclaimer: most of the content on this webpage has been artificially manipulated. Enjoy.
So you will be welcomed by all of us on our website, and below is a little text that explains what you will encounter. Then there's our first example. As you can see now, there's the introduction in the video, which shows the visual flaw. And on our webpage, you have the technical details. Next to it, the visual flaws. Depends on how many there are, what we have already explained to you. There's the target video and the deepfake video. And of course, I mean, this is, you all recognize Elon Musk, baby Elon. Then this is our first deepfake. We show how it sort of failed because of the, like Pipi already explained before, that it's important that you have the same conditions for the source and the target video, and we made a mistake. So it was really has a lot of flaws in this video. In this one, you can see the process. You can go from step by step and see all the steps of how to make a deepfake. They are aligned, so you have the data set and the mask. If you click alignment, it's the same moment in the video. It's quite a lot of videos. In the meantime, you can also see, this is the graph on the side, where you see the specification that we use to make the video, so you can compare all the videos throughout the whole website. Yeah, this is the first experiment. You see the difference between 200 and 2000 source images, so you can compare the quality difference. Then we had a look at what happens. Can we make a deepfake of someone's Facebook profile? So we stole all the pictures from Pipi's Facebook profile, and we tried to make a deepfake out of this. The results you can see downstairs, because else we spoil too much. Scroll. We also have Indiana Jones. You've seen him before. Yeah, so Andre and Indiana Jones. Here you. Another example of real-world deepfake on the internet. Yes. Another experiment where we see what is the influence of the amount of training time. So if you train the algorithm longer, how much will the quality improve? And then our final experiment, we deepfaked Andre into me, because we could control both settings, the source video and the target video, and we put everything that we've learned throughout all our experiments to the test. So we used 2 algorithms, and we basically thrown everything that's difficult for them at them, and we've seen which one responded the best. So you can see me shaking, and we zoom, and we run, and we do, especially the end is really nice. If you can look downstairs, you see the light change, and you see the mask coming, and then it sort of disappears again. So it's, okay. And then we have Morgan Freeman, which is a really good example of a deepfake. It's hard to recognize because the source video is also the target video, so they sort of only manipulated what he said rather than they put a face into him. And this is more like a general warning. Take the lessons of the website with you. You can download our recognition card, so the glossary that Pippi explained on the final page. Then there's the protocol for if you all want to do the same as we did. You won't get our source videos because that's our own content. But you can see all the steps and all the settings for the algorithm. So you can sort of have an overview and you can try yourself and get the same sort of quality or see what you can do with this. And in the About page, we explain why we do this, how we came to it, who we are, why it's important, and what you will find on the website. Thank you.
and/or removal of certain contents that are accessible to the public. It exists because some government and some platforms want to regulate users' behavior online. And so platforms, to do this, use policies which over time are becoming more and more numerous and specific due to the exponential increase of the users. During the second phase, to better investigate this ambiguous and this complex phenomenon, we developed 8 research protocols that investigate different aspects of online censorship. In one of our research protocols, which then became the starting point for our third phase, we decided to focus only on the censorship applied on Instagram, and this for 2 main reasons. First of all, Instagram, compared to other social platforms, still has ambiguities on some themes, and it is not always detailed. And the second reason is that Instagram is one of the most used social platforms online for the sharing of visual content. It is not only a tool that allows people to connect and establish new digital relationships, but over time, it has also become a real professional tool for some users. However, these content users sometimes go against the Instagram policies because they are considered too explicit. This is what we have tried to study in our protocol about erotic magazine on Instagram. In fact, as we can see from this visualization, this magazine, in order to survive on platforms and to continue expressing their work, developed different techniques of self-censorship, creating new several languages to respond to this phenomenon. That said, Instagram, in the introduction of its policies, proposed itself as an authentic and open-minded platform, but immediately, after a few paragraphs in the guidelines that regulate nudity, it contradicts its main intention. Indeed, if we read carefully this part of policy, it highlights not only differentiation between male and female bodies, but it also specifically defines what kind of women can show their nudity without being censored by the platform.
Well, through our project, we want people to reflect. Instagram proposes itself as an open-ended platform, but as to its nudity policies, it denies freedom of expression to all of its users, and it reinforces the taboos of our society. The policies are just an interpretation that sometimes is also incorrect of our reality. And since Instagram has a key role in the life of all of its users, we wonder, shouldn't it be less ambiguous? Also, the boundary among some situations is very subtle. Are this content that we are used to see in nature so sensitive? Our communication aim is to inform people, making them reflect. Which vision of our society do we have according to the Instagram policies? For our project let the users know the community guidelines, highlighting the aspect that could be more unclear, debatable, or ambiguous. The target is everyone, since the policy regulates all the users' behavior. So, to make the ambiguity of the policy more visible, this project uses absurdity and irony. The Load the Jungle starts with a strong provocation. What would happen if the Instagram policy were applied to the entire animal world and not only to the humans? Our website is a quiz in which the users will live an experience as content moderators, since they are called to help Instagram to censor inappropriate contents. In this way, they can experience firsthand the absurdity of the policy. The language of our project has a strong link to Instagram so that the user can immediately understand the contents. From the colors, the gradients, the format of the post, the format of the stories, all of these characteristics have been taken up from the social platform, then broken up and put together in a bizarre way. This is our landing page, and this is the clear example of how this process happened. Here, Instagram declares that by 2021, it will apply censorship also on animals' profile, which are spreading more and more on social platforms and receiving many reports. For this reason, Instagram is asking to all of its users to censor, to help it to censor and recognize the inappropriate contents of humans and other animals. This is our wireframe. We start from the landing, then we have the quiz. The quiz is divided in 4 topics, and the users will have to complete 2 tasks for each topic. Then the users will pass to the profile page, the gallery, and the about. So, the topics are 4, and they are presented in the same order in which they're quoted on the Instagram policy. So we have sexual intercourse, genitals, buttocks, and finally, nipples. Now, we will present you 1 task for each topic. So, first, sexual intercourse. Every task starts with the policy that can prepare the users to the game. Also, all of the tasks has been structured starting from some questions that we wonder when we analyze the policy. In this first case, there are: what does the term sexual intercourse include? And also, it is allowed to publish a crop photo of sexual intercourse, for example, only the faces. In this type of game, there are 2 images, 2 crop photos of the same sexual act, and the users will have to understand which of the 2 Instagram will accept. The second phase is genital, and in this case, we do not have any doubts or reflection, so we can directly pass to the description of the game. Here we have a grid with 20 images, and the users will have to understand which image shows genitals. At the end of this type of game, the users will be able to check their answers and see a small description to better understand the reasons. The third phase is buttocks, and Instagram says for the buttocks that all the close-up of fully nude buttocks are censored. But we could say, where is the difference with a not close-up frame? Or again, how many centimeters is partially nude? Are a tongue or a string? Okay. So nipples it's our last phase, and this is also the topic on which we had so many questions. But now we will present only the 2 most important. You need to know that Instagram accepts only male nipples. But Instagram make also some exceptions for women who are breastfeeding and women who undergone mastectomy. So we could say that for Instagram there are only 3 types of women: mothers, sick women, and finally the unacceptable one, or too sensual, as you wish. So let's think about what if this is our offline reality. At the end of the quiz, the users will be able to read their profile page based on their scores, resulting like Easy Prey, Blessed by Darwin, Skill Survivor, or King of the Jungle. They also will be able to read the complete policy with all the questions that we wonder about each topic, and to see the gallery of images we used and that Instagram will censor according to its policy. The About section presents finally all the information about our research and our final project, and the users will be able to download the database of image that we use for this project. So, special thanks to Group 3, and let's see who will survive.
I'm far away from nowhere.
And thank you. The name of our project is Can You Break Up with the Data Net? So everything starts from the phase 2, when for one of the graph we had to collect the different information that is required from the users if you want to create a profile. So that's how we find out that it's quite difficult to delete your profile from some of the dating applications. So then we start to analyze it, and we realize that, of course, developers are not interested in their users deleting their profile, so they want a more profile, they want more information from them, and that's why they do some tricky stuff in order to keep you inside of the application. So, for example, they apply the shady design in it's a cases when you cannot find the delete button, but only, for example, the pausing button, or they provide you some stories, for example, that this couple is together just because of our application, or they do just the deletion process is super complicated, so you just don't want it to proceed. So, for example, they send you the message to the email, so you have to turn off your application, and then you have to go to your email, and then you have to confirm, etc. Or, for example, they can just tell you, okay, we deleted your profile, but then we're gonna keep it for 200 days in order you will change your mind and want it to return to us. But there's also some cases, and they are very unpleasant in the term of the experience, when you are not able to delete your profile. For example, one of the applications that we did the video for, its name is Zusk, and they are not let you to delete your profile completely, they just let you to deactivate it. So we separated our audience into 3 groups, and first of all is the people who already registered users, and also the people who might want to create their profile one day, and also just people who do care about their personal information online. So simply our message is just there's so many different applications that maybe you should choose it carefully depending on what kind of experience you're looking for. And also, sorry. I forgot that. Okay. Sorry, it just Someone come in. Okay, so our main communication aim is to just tell that this is a problem, and sometimes you cannot delete your account whenever you wish, and that sometimes to create your profile is so much easier than to delete it.
So in terms of the data, we utilized the data that we collected from the previous phase, in which we had to, as previously mentioned, we had to create accounts and analyze what kind of information they ask of the users, and that's where the entire account deletion problem came about. In the website, we have created. For the website, we have created 5 videos for 5 of the applications that we took a look at for the second phase. They are Badoo, Grindr, Happen, Mamba, and Zoosk. And in each video, the application is its own type of character, since each application has its own way of portraying itself to the user. And the application is in a sort of relationship with the user, and it tries to keep the user from deleting their account in every way that it possibly can, through manipulative and anxiety-inducing speech. In addition to the videos, we made step-by-step guides describing all of the necessary interventions that one would need to fully delete their account on these particular dating applications, in case they are confused or overwhelmed by the interfaces. So here we have a mock-up with the website's navigation style. If you click on a button, you're going to get a modal dialog in which you can see the video, as well as the steps that you can take to delete your profile, as well as a little sort of bio in which you can see the nationality of the application, the birth year of the application, as well as what sort of information it wants from you. So for example, age range, preferences, sexual orientation, and so on. In addition, we have the About section, in which we explain what kind of objectives we have for the project, and we also have the scheme, the graph that we had previously made for phase 2, in which you can see all the information that the apps ask. Finally, we can take a look at one of the videos. You can see all of them on the website later, if you wish. This is Badoo. The audio is not working. Let's see. Yes.
Good morning, Kyle. I'm glad you visited me. It's been forever. Where have you been? You have a lot of people waiting for you to reply to their messages. There is no more time to waste. I also have a lot of possible matches for you. You should start checking them out. Chiara seems like a lovely lady. You should answer her. By the way, how was that date with Mark? You didn't tell me anything. Do you want to edit anything about your profile? Maybe add a new profile picture? How about adding more social media profiles? That will help you get more matches. Kyle, come on, do something. Those people are waiting for you. Wait, what are you searching for? Kyle, what is it that you want to do? Why are you doing that? Do you really want to be invisible? People will never know how great you are if you go invisible. Good. You didn't turn that on. But what are you searching for now? Kyle, I think you should stop this and go reply to the messages now. Wait, Kyle, do you really want to delete your account? Kyle, that's a mistake. You can take a break and think about it more, but don't delete your account. You would miss out on so much if you did. I could be the reason you find your soulmate. Do you want to risk never finding anyone? Please, Kyle, I don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. Allow me change your mind. I can give you premium access for free. Just stay. If you try premium, I'm sure you can give me another chance. Oh, come on. But why? You used to visit me every day. What happened? You haven't found anyone interesting? Well, if you use me more, you can find plenty more people who are just as interesting as you. Kyle, don't do it. Kyle, please.
Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon. We are group number 2, and our project is called ICU, Investigating, Exposing, and Taking Action Against Privacy Breaches in Security Cameras. First, we are going to explain the content. Our topic is the lack of awareness about the unauthorized and easy access to personal security cameras. We arrived to this argument from the phase 2, the INSECAM protocol. INSECAM is a website when there are leaked cameras from all around the world. They can be categorized by tags, by countries, or by places. And we wanted to discover if there were related point-in cameras and they were showing the same in different countries. But what we discovered mainly 3 things is like the leaked cameras exist, and we didn't even know before we discovered INSECAM. The second one is that we ask ourselves if people is aware about this situation. And the third one is the personal information is unprotected. For example, in INSECAM there are cameras pointing to homes and to swimming pools, and this is an open window to our privacy. Then we define our audience. There are potential owners of these cameras and people that is directly or indirectly under these security camera villains, and that involves us, also the people that is here today, because they are in public spaces. Our message is very simple, but at the same time it's paradoxical, because the vulnerability in these cameras exists unless we are not aware about this. And the people use these cameras to feel safer, and actually they can be used to open you to to a privacy of your world. So knowing our audience and our message, we arrived to our communication aim that is focused in 2 parts. First, to inform how one can track your location, for example, through an INSECAM open camera, but also to provoke providing the experience of contacting someone that is under this vigilance, making the audience aware about this, and also we want to that the audience take action of this, or at least have more concern about this issue. So now we are going to explain the project.
Thank you. So let's start by explaining where the data came from in this project. We selected 6 different countries from different continents or languages. And in this, for each of these 6 different countries, we got a few cameras from INSECAM that presented enough clues for us to proceed with the step number 3, that is the tracking process. The tracking process, we're going to explain in more detail very soon how it was. And the last part of obtaining the data was to select one of those successfully tracked cameras and to proceed with that. Our visual language is very raw. That means we use basically screenshots and screen recordings. And the idea behind this was to give the viewer, the user, the perception that he or she could easily do that. It's something, the tools that we use in the process are very affordable to mostly everyone with basic digital knowledge, so this was the idea. And also the blurred faces and the blurred data, they ended up becoming part of the language, but they are there obviously to protect the privacy of everyone involved. Here is an overview of our project. Our project is, the website is the artifact and vice versa, except for the About page. So the About page is obviously about explaining the entirety of the project in a deeper level. And going to the artifact, we have, the first thing you see when you go into the website is the introduction video. It explains both the issue and the project in very short time. From that, we have access to 6 different stories in the 6 different countries that I just mentioned a few moments ago. And after seeing these stories, the viewer is the viewer can see a guide, and this guide shows steps on how to diminish the vulnerability on the security cameras. So here we want to inform with examples, and also it's a moment we take to invite the viewer to check out the other stories. And now let's head back to the stories a little bit. These are the 3 phases of the stories. We've got the process videos that are 2 or 3 videos per story that clarify how the camera was tracked. So again, here we try to inform with practical examples using the visual language that I mentioned. And we also have the reaction videos that documentate the moment of the call. The call is when we actually call the person behind the camera after tracking everything about the camera, and we want to provoke curiosity with the possible reaction of the person behind the camera, because it's a real person and we, in general, can see it live. And in between the process videos and the reaction videos, there are these moments of interactions. And the idea behind the interaction, they are simple questions. For example, do you want to know how we overcame that false clue? Yes or no? The idea is to give to the user the feeling that you're getting more and more into some kind of privacy invasion, so to make the user feel as a part of this. And in case you press yes, you will proceed with the sequence of the story. In case you press no, you're going to be presented with a kind of a positive message that it's a nice thing that you didn't want to invade the people's privacy, but we did it anyway, and we still provide the chance for the person to see what happened in the end. Now let's go and see how the process actually were developed, the process that led to the process videos. So the first thing was that we examined the camera. For example, here, we examined the camera for details. In this case, we got the doors and the windows of that place. That place was a bar in Sassari. Then we go and use some very simple digital tools like Facebook, Google Reviews, Google Street View, business listings, and also not digital, but local friends in case we have them. And we try to match the details we examined to these new findings that we've got. In this case, we can see that the colors of the colors from the scene are similar, so we had a very big certainty that it was the actual place. So when we have this kind of certainty, we proceed to a double check with a tool that was not previously used. Here we use Street View, and we match with the same details from before. We just flipped it because it's the outside, of course, and placing it over the Street View facade, we can check that they are exactly in the same position. So we were pretty sure this was the place we were looking for. Now we get the contact information, which is the address, just to make sure once again, and the phone number, which serves for the last step of the process, that is calling. During the call, we record the caller. We monitor the camera during the call to see if there is any action that is resulting of our call. And we also ask the person if that is the actual place, the correct place, to be very sure if we're calling to the correct place. And now we are going to the actual website to experience the entirety of one of these stories. First, we're going to show you very briefly the About page, which is where we go for the deeper explanation of the project that we mentioned. We talk about why we did it, which is the aim, the goal, the message, the process, and the tools are more detailed in here. We also explain a bit more about the interactions, details about which of the places that were chosen, the visual language, and the data source, which is Instacam. Perhaps a few words about Instacam, which is a very interesting website where you can find cameras that leaked from all around the world. This is where everything started from. The interactions, and I guess the privacy note, which is an important aspect of our project, as we kind of invaded somehow the privacy, and the security guide, which gives some guidance on how to use cameras. Now, let's go for the stories with all around.
The image portrayed by the camera seems to show some kind of convenience store. Searching for convenience shops in the city of Erechim, Brazil, gave us a list of about 10 places. After going into the actual camera viewer page, there's no further need to search. One of the 8 cameras points right to the entrance, where we can read the shop's name. With that name followed by the city, we got to a Google Street View visualization that pointed to Pizzeria Milano. The actual shop could be found a few meters away. From the tables on the street to the handles of the freezers, everything was the same, and we could be sure that we had the right place.
Here we give some suggestions of how to behave during the call. So, thanks for the time, be kind, etc. And here is a disclaimer that we don't allow people to call because it would be kind of an over violation of privacy, but we did call, and to protect everything, we blurred the images, we blurred the data, and now let's see how the call went. This might or might not be me.
Oi, boa. É da conveniência? Viu? Desculpa incomodar, mas eu tô fazendo um trabalho aqui sobre privacidade e segurança em câmeras de monitoramento e eu encontrei as câmeras da loja de vocês online. Elas estão liberadas. Eu consigo ver que tem um senhor no caixa, tem uma moça com um vestido preto, um rapaz com uma camisa meio avermelhada, uma bermuda bege. Enfim, dá para ver o depósito ali, que tem umas caixas variadas de cerveja, algumas ilhas, produtos, etc. E eu achei bom ligar para vocês. Agora tem uma moça saindo com uma sacola e uma criança, indo para o caixa. Você não está vendo? Claro. Tudo bem. Oi. Tô te ouvindo. Você talvez seja uma senhora com vestido listrado, Oi. Boa tarde. Oi, boa tarde. Eu tô te ouvindo. Você me ouve? Oi, acho que você não tá me ouvindo, né? Certo, eu estava comentando com uma pessoa antes que me atendeu, uma mulher, que a câmera de vocês está aberta na internet. Talvez seja necessário trocar a senha dela ou algo assim, porque eu estou conseguindo ver todas as câmeras, são 8 câmeras que eu tenho acesso aqui. E eu me chamo Guilherme, você certamente não me conhece, eu não moro no Brasil, mas eu tô ligando para te dizer isso, porque pode ser perigoso, né? Beleza? Aí não sei se você tem uma empresa de segurança que cuida disso, mas quem sabe pede para eles darem uma olhada nisso, mudar as senhas, porque dá para ver tudo ao vivo. E tem um site que lista todas essas câmeras e foi lá que eu encontrei, assim, por acaso. Nada, tchau, tchau. Boa tarde.
This was a very interesting part because we checked the cameras a few weeks later for all of the 6 stories. Some were still available, some were not. So some people cared a lot about it, some didn't really care nothing at all. And this is the guide where we give a set of recommendations on how to protect your security cameras. That's it. Thanks for the attention, guys.
Okay, so, well, just few words to conclude the presentation, the course, the exam, and sorry, c'è l'acqua. Okay. Okay. Now, can you hear me? Yes. So, well, few words to conclude. And, well, first of all, thanks to all the students for the incredible work they did. I mean, I'm seriously saying that. I think that all of the 10 projects were interesting, good, and actually they spent a lot of time in doing them. And I would like to quickly recap what we have seen, just also for the people who may come later, and also to point out maybe which are the projects that you are interested also to see more in details. What you have seen in the presentation are actually real projects, so they are not concept or mock-ups. All of the 10 projects have been developed as websites, so you can actually go visit them, engage with them, and get much more information. And so we have said that we live in a data-intensive society. I'm showing again this slide because I think the students have seen this slide first time more or less 4 months ago when they choose to enroll to this course. And I'm not sure it was completely clear to them what they were going to face in the following 4 months. I think that this slide has a completely different meaning for them now. And, well, we have seen the 10 projects. The first one is about so-called fake images. And I mean, it could seem something simple for everybody to recognize a false image, in particular in a design school, because, I mean, we have a degree in Photoshop, more or less. So we know how to do them, but actually what the student did is actually to show the fact that our confirmation biases sometimes are actually greater than our ability to recognize images, modified images. So if something sounds, possible to us, to the way we look to things, well, it's more likely that we will believe in fake images. And also the fact that fake images are not that simple. Sometimes they are fake, sometimes are just slightly modified, sometimes are taken out of context. So I think this project helped us also to bring knowledge on this. We have seen a project dealing with drones and with the fact that often we are just, happy and we want to have a new sort of toy, and we want just to go out there and fly it without actually caring about the fact that it could be dangerous or at least not completely legal or not legal at all in different countries or in different settings. So it's also important to know what happens around this technology. We have seen how in different social and cultural settings, we can see in a different way, we can look in a different way to the same technology, and also to the way we actually engage with this technology. So in this project, the student collected how in China official sources and people talk about face recognition in different settings and for different kind of actions. And I think it's interesting also to see how things that could be completely unacceptable for me are in different settings completely acceptable. With this project, the other students worked on the topic of set getters, so people going in places depicted in movies, recreating a particular scene, often without caring about the fact that sometimes are private places, private houses, or that they are actually destroying that place. And with an ironical approach, they brought up some possible experiences that have been done in reality on this topic. Another topic that was analyzed is the field of body modification apps. And well, nowadays it's full of this kind of apps. All of us can download them, play with them. Probably most of us have done with that, but just for fun. And what is interesting is the fact that even if these apps are very popular and have millions of downloads, if you go on the Google Store, you will find that all the presentation of these apps, or these apps present themselves providing some justification to the user. And it's like that even if many people would like to download that app, they feel in a sort of way guilty for strange reasons, because if you want to download, well, you can use it. But it seems that there is this feeling of guiltness, and so you need that phrase that it's telling you, well, you are doing nothing wrong. You are just enhancing your natural beauty. You are just showing how you really are, or you are just doing it for fun. There's nothing bad in that. And so they collected all these kind of sentences and removing them from their context, they created this justified archive showing how people and how apps justify their usage. We have a group working on Mimetic Warfare Archive showing how propaganda has been brought to internet also using this kind of medium. Propaganda is nothing new, and propaganda strategies are not new. We have just a new place, a new territory that is possible to use for this kind of communication. So what they did is actually to take memes and bring back them to showing the similarities with this kind of communicative approach. And also in this case, we have an archive providing information about one specific topic, but actually what is interesting is that they identify an approach that can be extended to other topics. We have seen also the deepfakes video. Deepfake is up to now is a sort of magic technology. It's something that we have heard on the internet. It's something really, it seems magic because you can just completely take the face from one person and put the face on another person. And what the student did is to demystify this kind of magic, showing how it actually works, and showing that, yes, we can do that. It's not that simple. It's not that simple like collecting, I don't know, 10 pictures from Facebook and then, bam, you can just put another face on a video. It's not like that. You have to prepare your video, you have to shoot it in the right way, you have to spend a lot of time in training it, and also to post-product it. We have seen another group working on the topic of censorship, in particular on Instagram, and also in this case, they used an approach of moving the Instagram policies to another context. So what would happen if we have to extend Instagram policies to any kind of animal, not just humans? And doing this, actually, we can actually reflect about these policies. Why we cannot post female nipples, but we can post male nipples? Why we cannot post completely nude buttocks, but if they are half covered, that's fine. So it's interesting because it opens up a reflection about this. And then we have seen a group working on dating apps, but not in the sense of what they can offer as in dating, but rather which kind of relationship happens between the user and the service itself. And what they found out is that breaking up with the dating app, it's really difficult. And in this case, they actually created this, they personified, is it a word? No, I don't think so. Anyway, they give voice to these apps, showing how they try to avoid that user log out or actually cancel their profile from those apps. And finally, the last project actually focused on cameras, security cameras, that it's a common technology and it's very cheap. Anyone can buy a camera for a security camera for few €100. But most of the people actually doesn't care about the real security of those cameras, so they don't put a password or they don't care about that. So from a security need, they are resulting in a completely unsecure behavior. And with this project, actually, they showed that these cameras are online, and when you have a camera online, it's really simple to actually understand where that camera is actually located. So these were the projects, and again, check our website. You can browse them and explore them and have much more information. One more thing that I want to add, so to the up to now we have seen presentation of group work, but the students worked also on personal assignment called Info Poetries. This is an experimentation that goes back, I think we started in 2015, 14, I don't remember. Well, actually from an idea of Professor Paolo Ciuccarelli and Professor Zingale. I don't know if Salvatore is here. He's not here. Well, Paolo is not here. Anyway, the idea is that it's possible to communicate data and information not just from the point of view of, let's say, the analytical, trying to push an analytical reading of information, rather trying to communicate feelings about the topic. So all the students engage with this assignment. Choose a topic, collect data about your topic, and communicate it in a visual form. You are free to do whatever you want, but a visual form that is capable to create feelings in the user, in the reader. So you will see, it will be possible to see all the results of Info Poetry at the ground floor. So after this, we will go down. I think we will have a little bit of break. No? 10 minutes? Okay. And then at the ground floor, you will be able to see all the results, all the group work from the first phase, second phase, and third phase, and all the Info Poetries. So before, finishing, I want to make a list. Sorry? Okay. So I want to make a list of people that I want to thank, or a group of people. So again, first of all the students that took part to this course, thank you a lot for all the time and all the effort that you put in these works. And we know that the last weeks were quite busy for you. I think that the result, anyway, speak quite well, and I hope I really hope that you are happy with the result. We are. The second group of people that I want to thank is all the group of assistants that actually followed you up to now. They spent a lot of time, they answered a lot of emails. So thank you to all the assistants, the official and unofficial ones that probably are the most appreciated in every course. And of course, all the other teachers of this lab, so Angeles, Gabriele, Salvatore, and Simone, that actually took part to this course. Well, that's pretty much everything. I think I spoke enough to give time to the catering to bring the food and the drinks. Sorry? Of course. So I think we can say that it's over. You are free now. And so, again, thanks to you, thanks to all the guests that come here to actually see what you have done, I hope that they get something and that they discovered something of interesting. And well, have a chat with our students if you found something interesting. Thank you.